Hola amigos y amigas, buenos días, mi nombre es Neha and bienvenida a mi channel Book Junction. ¿Qué tal? I hope all of you are good and safe. So I put up this poll on my Instagram a few days back where I wanted you guys to tell me if you would be interested in watching a video where I talk about how I am learning Spanish all by myself. So learning Spanish was in my bucket list for like the longest of time, and I wanted to learn Spanish and German as well, so I was confused which one should I start learning. So for this year I actually was really determined that finally I'm going to learn Spanish. It was my resolution for 2020. Now you guys know very well what we do with resolutions, right? We continue it for a week or so and then we sort of abandon it, but somehow magically I continued my resolution and I actually am still learning Spanish, and it's April already. So I hope by the end of the year I will actually be able to speak it fluently. I'm not fluent, I'm not even halfway through it. Like, I'm still learning the basics, and obviously I'm learning it all by myself without any paid course or app, so you can also learn it as well. So in this video I will talk about everything, how I started learning Spanish. So esta es mi diario, where I write all my notes, all my Spanish notes. But let me start by telling you that I also did the most quintessential thing when I started learning Spanish. So I downloaded the Duolingo app like everyone does. So if you don't know, then I'll just quickly tell you that Duolingo is this free app where you can learn different languages, and I downloaded it and tried learning Spanish from there, and that's where I started. I had no idea about this language. Now Duolingo is really a good place to start. It lets you know the very basic things that you need to know about a language. You will get to know how to introduce yourself and just basic things that you need. But if you want to learn the language seriously, I don't really think Duolingo works that well, although they do have premium plans where you can pay and then learn. I think that would be great, but as I said, I wanted to learn it for free. So then I moved to Google and I started googling random things. For example, I would Google prepositions or conjunctions in Spanish, and then I would write down all the notes and try to learn it. But eventually I realized that I'm not going to learn any serious Spanish if I keep googling stuff like that. Now the thing is, Spanish is a complicated language, and I think every language has its own complexities, and in just the same way Spanish is also complicated. It's not that easy as people tell you. People tell you like Spanish is really easy, so start learning Spanish. No, it is pretty intense. So there is this one thing that is really complicated in this language Spanish, is that every word, almost every word, has two versions, a masculine version and a feminine version. So for example, the word the, even the has two versions. So if you want to say the boy, you will have to say El Niño, and on the other hand, if you want to say the girl, you will have to say La Niña. So even the has two versions, El and La. And just in the same way, there are so many words that have different versions, masculine and feminine, and it gets really daunting after a certain point of time because so much is there to learn. Eventually I also realized that there are a lot of interchangeable words in Spanish as well. So for example, I am in Spanish is yo soy. Now if I want to say that I am bored, I cannot say yo soy aburrido. Now aburrido means bored, but if I want to say I am bored, I cannot say yo soy aburrido. I will have to say estoy aburrido. So estoy, or rather estar, is the word that stands for when you are feeling something as such. So estoy aburrido and not yo soy aburrido. And then I realized that there are so many words that stand for the same thing. Even the word but has two different words in Spanish to say the same thing. Now again, if you want to say that you are feeling something, then you will have to say lo siento. If you want to say you feel like something, then you will have to say lo siento como. So there are so many different layers in this Spanish language, and it's not easy. Plus the grammar is also different than English, obviously. Now one thing that is pretty different and it's taking me a lot of time to adjust is the fact that in Spanish the adjective comes after the noun. So for example, if you want to say green shirt, so green is verde and shirt is camiseta. So you cannot say verde camiseta. You will have to say camiseta verde because the adjective comes after the noun, and that's how it works. So no matter what, even if it's a verb, if it's a noun, the adjective will always come after it, and that's how it works in Spanish. So when I realized that there are so many complicated layers in this language, I understood that googling stuff randomly will not help me and I will never be able to learn any serious Spanish. That's when I thought that okay, I should get a book, and luckily I got a free ebook from Google, and I will actually put the link of the ebook in the description box so that if you guys are planning to learn Spanish, you can download that. It will be pretty easy. So yeah, I downloaded the free ebook, and the ebook is basically about Spanish grammar, basic Spanish grammar. It also has a lot of exercises that we call ejercicio in Spanish, pretty fancy. So yeah, there are a lot of exercises as well, so you can practice your Spanish right away after you have learned the lesson, which is pretty good. So you get to learn the language. But I realized that had I not learned the basic stuff on Duolingo and from Google, I think it would have been pretty tough for me to understand the book, because the book just starts abruptly from tenses. So I understood a little bit about the language from Duolingo and Google, and that actually added to my experience and that actually helped me. So whatever I did, yes, I started abruptly and I started randomly, and I did random stuff, but when I add everything up, I see that yes, everything added up to this, and whatever I'm learning now, it's making sense. It's starting to make sense, and I think it feels really great to learn a new language. And I read it somewhere that when you are learning a new language, it's like weight training for your brain. It's so amazing. It's like mind exercise. There is no other brain exercise that is as efficient and as amazing as learning a new language, and especially if you're learning it all by yourself without any help from a mentor or anything as such, then it's even more intense. So that's why I really recommend learning a new language, whichever language. Like Korean, I know that a lot of guys are in Korean these days because of the Korean pop culture and BTS. I am a huge BTS fan. Now personally, I do believe that it's always a good idea to know something rather than not knowing anything. Like I knew nothing about Spanish a few months back, and now I have learned quite a lot actually. And now if I go to a Spanish restaurant with someone and I want a table for two, I can simply say una mesa para dos personas, and I think that's pretty impressive. So well, kidding, I mean I should learn more, but I still know something, so I think that is amazing. Plus Spanish is a great language. Whatsoever, whichever language you are interested in, start learning it today, right now. We all have time in our hands right now. You can definitely start learning it. I told you how I am learning it, and it was a messy process, but now I have got the hang of it. I will also share the link of the ebook that I am using, and you can also use that if you want to learn Spanish. And I really hope that you all enjoyed watching this video and found it valuable, and I hope that I motivated you to learn a new language. If I did, then definitely click on the like button. It will mean a lot to me. And definitely subscribe to my channel, because I keep coming with different kinds of videos to entertain you and provide value. And also click on the bell icon so you are notified with all the updates, and I'll see you in my next video. Until then, goodbye.